I'm still trying to work out why he needed to share that. I don't understand. Maybe I've missed something. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. To my house guests, come in, make yourselves at home, make yourselves comfortable. To my visitors who are stopping by for the first time, if you would like to become a house guest, don't forget to click the subscribe button and activate all your notifications. I'm Chez, this is Chez M0i. Welcome to my place. Okay guys, so I can finally say that I've read Spare. I downloaded it off Audible, so I was listening to it most of the time. My other half sent me a hard copy, so last week was especially busy. I'm going to try to keep this video as brief as possible because I have an appointment shortly. I just wanted to come on here and give you my take on the book. What I got from this book, which I wasn't surprised at, is that the one issue that has plagued Harry since the age of 12 is the sudden death of his mum. And although physically he's matured, emotionally he has remained paralysed, stuck in the events of the 31st of August 1997. There were a number of things that stood out to me in this book, and it was quite a long list, but I'm just gonna keep it down to below 10. So I think I've got about 7 or 8 and I'll just run through those briefly, but they're in no particular order. So Harry talks about his regret at not giving his mum enough time during their final telephone conversation on the 30th of August. So literally the day before she died, because he was playing with his cousins and William and he wanted to get back to playing and he kind of rushed her off the phone. You know, you can imagine how haunting that would be, and he felt guilty about that. The underlying theme through this book is how his mum's death has impacted his life going forward, and it underpins everything in his existence. The other thing that I kind of noticed, which was I surprised at? I think I was. The fact that Charles and Camilla had asked Kate to change the spelling of her name, because she spells Catherine with a C, not a K. We've already got 2 C's. So in terms of the ciphers that Charles and Camilla have, they didn't want another C to confuse things, so they asked her to change the spelling of her name. I mean, to me, that's quite egotistical. How are you going to ask someone to change the spelling of their name? The name that her parents gave her, the spelling that was given to her at birth. Like, I mean, I don't know what the resolution to that was, but clearly a discussion was had. I just found that really, really strange. The other thing that kind of made me give the side eye was when William apparently had ordered Harry to shave his beard, even though the Queen had given Harry permission to wear his beard on his wedding day. Obviously, William wasn't allowed to do that on his wedding day, and he got a bit miffed about that. And I just think to myself, the mental age to be arguing about a beard. I mean, who actually does that? Who does that? I had to give the side eye to that one, I'm not gonna lie. Another thing that I gave the side eye to was Charles saying to Harry that he was not in a position to financially support Meghan. He could only do it for Harry, William and Kate. He was questioning whether Meghan was going to go back to work. Now, Harry says that the motive behind that was that Charles didn't want Meghan to steal the limelight. But whatever Charles' motives are, he's paying for royal family members via the sovereign grant. And this is what the sovereign grant is for those of you who don't know. So whatever Charles's motives are for asking that question, or basically saying he can't afford to support Meghan financially when she joins the family, people are still going to be angry that Harry and Meghan made the decision to leave to gain financial independence. If that's not a reason to gain financial independence, I don't know what is. Doesn't make sense. There are a lot of side-eye moments for me in this book, and another one of those was when Harry overshared in my opinion, what happened to him when he returned from the North Pole and he had not frostbite, in his nether regions. I'm still trying to work out why he needed to share that. I don't understand. Maybe I've missed something. If you guys can help me, put it in the comments. What was the reason for sharing that? Yeah, for me it wasn't necessary, but I guess it was necessary for him. The other thing that I didn't know, and I guess most people didn't know, was that Harry and William were not each other's best man at their respective weddings. They actually asked close friends. Apparently Palace had informed the press that Harry and William would be each other's best man in order to protect the identity of those who actually had those roles. I mean, it's a kind of a grey area, because if you're talking about feeding false information to the press, does it apply all the time or only some of the time? That's one question that I had in my mind. I get the protection of the friends, but again, if you're going to do it, if you're going to do something, does it apply all the time or only some of the time? I don't know. I don't know about that one. Another thing that I wasn't surprised at, but it was kind of eyebrow raising, not in a bad way, was when Harry said that he knew that Meghan hadn't Googled the family, because on her first meeting with the Queen, she didn't realise that the person holding the Queen's handbag was actually Prince Andrew and not her assistant. So when you cast your mind back to their engagement interview back in 2017, I think it was, and she says she didn't know anything about Harry, that kind of corroborates her story that she didn't know anything about them. People will still not be satisfied with that, because as far as British society is concerned, everyone on the planet should know about the royal family without exception. Newsflash, not everyone knows about the royal family. They're not as famous as you think they are. You will get a contingent that do have an interest in the British royal family from America, but generally speaking, they're not really interested. They've got enough going on in their country to be concerned about what goes on over here. I think the only reason why it's shown up on the radar of more Americans is because of the treatment that Meghan, as an American, has received from the British media. And I liken it to Beyonce, who, one of the videos that she did, this is a while ago, I don't follow Beyonce like that, but one of the, when she was releasing an album and she was making a video and she wanted African dancers in her video, I think she went over, or she got someone to bring them over, these African dancers. I can't remember which country it was from, forgive me, but they had no clue who this person was. Beyonce, one of the most recognisable women on the face of the earth, they did not know who this woman was. So I think we, in America and also in the UK, we have this insular attitude that because, you know, we're such a prominent nation, that everyone should know everything about what's done here. The RF is not that famous. I mean, I couldn't even tell you the names of all the royal houses in Europe. Number one, I don't have any interest. And number two, they're just descendants of Queen Victoria, as like this British royal family. As far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't be able to tell you who's who in Europe. The only one that I know of is because of the comparison that was drawn was Princess Angela of Liechtenstein, who's a black woman from Panama, Panamanian American, and because she married into that royal family. And I don't remember all of this fuss being made about her. Obviously in their country there was a bit of fuss, but because it was sanctioned by her father-in-law, everything was fine and they just get on with their lives. We also get clarification in this book about Bridesmaid Gate and also Tiara Gate. And I've labelled them like that because it was meant to be such a big scandal, but where Meghan had made Kate cry, and with the tiara where Meghan apparently had demanded a certain tiara. We now get the clarification on that it was actually Kate that made Meghan cry, and Kate had come around with flowers to apologise. And with regard to the tiara, it was Angela Kelly, the Queen's dresser, the Queen's stylist, that had been obstructive with regard to the tiara, even though the Queen had given Meghan the choice of 5 from her collection. One of the things that made me feel a bit sad was that Harry talks about him not accepting the fact that his mum had died. He just thought that she'd disappeared and she was in hiding and she was going to send for her sons at an appropriate time. And it was 10 years before he actually accepted the fact that she actually died and she wasn't going to come back. And that was when he took the drive through the Alma Tunnel at the age of 23. I just found that really, I mean, anyone would find that really sad. But again, it goes to show how much this one event has impacted the rest of his life, and I believe it will forever impact the rest of his life. I mean, how could it not? One thing I found funny was that in the book, Harry had made reference to the fact that Meghan in her late 30s, still referred to her father as daddy. But all through the book, he refers to his mum as mummy. I just found that really strange. It's like, are you not aware that you're kind of doing the same thing? I just found that really funny. And it just demonstrates that when you're stuck in a moment, it's very difficult to move from that. Mummy's mummy, whatever age you are. And that's what I got from that. I'm glad Harry wrote this book because it's his account using his words and using his voice when it comes to audio. They didn't get an actor to do it. He wanted to do it, obviously. 15 hours, 38 minutes. And I appreciated that because when he's telling his stories, he obviously is going back in his head and you can hear the emotion in his voice, whether it's happy, sad, angry. And it was something that I did appreciate. The positive byproduct of him doing this book is that the proceeds, a significant portion of the proceeds, are going to charities that are close to his heart. Like I said in my previous video, I think it would have been callous of him to reveal all of this information and just retain all of the proceeds. But as a byproduct, charities are benefiting. And I think for me, that's okay. That's okay. With this book, he's undeified the royal family. And I did look it up. That is an actual word. I've spoken previously about this, that the royal family are viewed as gods, as a deity. It's the belief system in this country, in this nation. And I think what this book has done has been to demystify the royal family. It's taken the mystique from them. There is no mystery anymore. Who could have imagined that Prince Charles does handstands to alleviate the pain in his neck from years of playing polo? You know, you have that visual in your head and it's like, wow, Prince Charles doing a headstand. Yeah, it humanises them. It undeifies them. And this is what I talked about in previous videos. We need to stop treating these people as gods because they are not better than us. In undeifying the royal family, Harry has shown that at the heart of an ancient institution is a family made up of members who are as flawed as every single one of us. They are a dysfunctional family. And the only reason why we know about them, and we've known about them for decades, is because of the media bringing us certain information. And not all of it has been true. So for me, this book has demonstrated that if the royal family want to remain popular, they need to change the way that they deal with internal issues and not rely so much on the British press to feed us information in order to manipulate us to like them. Because effectively that's what they're doing. When you hear about Charles and Camilla's office apparently feeding negative information about Harry and William, because it's not just Harry that's been affected by this, William has, but he didn't speak up until he didn't confront his dad about it until it affected him. But what insults me is the fact that they bring us into this manipulation, because for me, the British tabloid press is quite occultic. And what I mean is that every day they're casting a spell over the nation and they're telling you what to think. And they're like, if we put this out there, the millions of people that absorb this rhetoric, they will believe what we tell them. That's evident over the last 2 to 3 years with what's happened worldwide. And I liken it to an advert. Have you ever sat in front of your TV and an advert comes on? 30 seconds. Before this advert came on, before this 30-second ad came on, you had no clue about this product or service they're about to advertise. At the end of that 30 seconds, you're compelled to get your credit card out and actually order the product because the messaging was so powerful. And in your subconsciously, they've told you that you need this product when you actually don't. And I think we need to be careful about what we just allow into our brains, what we just allow to seep in our brains. And the British tabloid press are very, very good at that. If it didn't work, they wouldn't continue to do it. And many members of the public are complicit in that because they continue to buy these publications. I thought what William said in the clip that I put in my last video, I thought you would have learned by now. That's what he said to that person he suspected of being an intruder photographer when they were out and about on their bikes. They haven't learned, and they're not going to learn. Since Diana, you know, they backed off a bit. They did the same with Caroline Flack, who was mentioned in the book. I wasn't even aware that Harry and her had a brief encounter, but press intrusion drove her to take her own life. And I suspect that the British press is not going to let up because it all boils down to money. If one photo can get £100,000, which is going to put that paparazzo's child through private school, or buy him another house or another car, you can see why they're hell-bent on trying to get as much salacious information about members of the royal family, because effectively that's their bread and butter, and they will literally hunt them down until they get what they want. They will abuse these people until they get what they want. And we call, you know, it makes me laugh when we call ourselves a civilized society. What's civilized about that? There's nothing civilized about that at all. We're not stupid. We are not stupid people. We, the public, are not stupid. And what the royal family and the press need to do is stop insulting our intelligence by colluding with each other in order to manipulate us, just so that they can either get higher in the popularity stakes or line their pockets. It needs to stop, because effectively this will filter down into the next generation. So George, Charlotte, Louis, Archie and Lily, they could face the same thing unless things change drastically. Today it's been rumoured that a possible reconciliation may take place following the release of Harry's book. How true that is, I don't know. Whether that will take place, I don't know. It's supposed to take place before the coronation. I guess everybody owes everybody an apology. But Harry's looking for his apology. I honestly don't think he's going to get one. And as I previously stated, if he's not going to get closure, the best thing for him to do is to just move on, because the best revenge is to live well. But if this book is anything to go by, it's going to be extremely difficult for him to let go, especially if he's got a 4-book deal with Random House. Apparently he's got information to fill 3 more books. I personally would say, Harry, don't do it. Please just live your life, because your purpose, the purpose of you and Meghan to break away is to go and do good in the world and live life independently. You don't need the royal family to survive. You really don't. And I think while you still have the support of many, many people, I personally think that should be it now. I think that should be it. That's just my personal opinion. It doesn't mean that I stop rooting for them to succeed. I just think you have to exercise wisdom in certain situations. He said what he said. It's his account. Anyone that wants to dispute it, it's up to them, but it's still his account. It doesn't change what he thinks. And I mean, I can't even imagine what else there is to say after this on his side. I think they should just go and do the good work that they want to do and just live. They literally don't need, and I get that he misses his family, but the royal family, in my opinion, they're not going to change. I would hope that they would change, but they're not going to change. So guys, that's my brief take on the book. I'm not going to do a deep dive because this audiobook was 15 hours, 38 minutes. And as I said, my other half sent me the hard copy of it. So my head is filled with this book. There are other people commenting more thoroughly than me. This is just my overview and my thoughts. So don't know what Harry's going to come with next. Don't know what the royal family is going to come with next. Guys, if you enjoyed my take on Spare, don't forget to click like. If you're visiting and you'd like to become a house guest, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, activate all your notifications, and let me know what you thought about this book. If you read it, let me know your thoughts. I'm not covering everything in this video because it's not meant to be a deep dive. It's just bits of the book that stood out for me. But if you have other thoughts and other perspectives, feel free to comment below. In the meantime, I want to take this opportunity to thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and you should catch me in the next video.